In this lesson we're just going to go through the adding a door to your catalogue. If you come over to your catalogue and expand one of the folders out, you can basically come in and say, let's say, add another garage wall here, a garage door. So if you highlight the one you want to copy, you just right click and go add. So let's go and add an 870 garage door. So as in the walls or any other element, you've got a description. So I just want to change that 770 to an 870. As you can see down here, we've the basic types of doors we can have. We can have a hinged, a bifold, a pocket, which is your cavity door, a track slider, a face slider, which is our face of wall, your fold up doors, which are going to be your panels, your tilted doors and your roller doors. So in this case it's a hinge door. The type of doors we can have down here are basically rectangular or arched or apexed. Okay, so here in Australia we just tend to have those. As before, the image here, if I click on A is highlighted green over here so you know what you're doing. So just type in 870. The door height's 2040. If I wanted to include trim, I can include trim, but I don't tend to do that. The swing, we can have a left, a right, or a double. So if we go double, we can then have to have the first door width and the second door width. So just basically left. This 3D percentage open and 2D percentage open. Basically what that will do is we'll show you this 2D as 50%. Well, naturally will give you a 90-degree arc for your door swing. With a 0 percentage, basically in 3D, if you go walking through it, the door will be closed. So you can change those to open the doors or close the doors. You can add a highlight, a left side light and a right side light and just build it up, and basically as you build it up, what you see is what you get. So if we just leave that for the time being with the highlights, we'll then go and work on the leaf tab at the top. So the types of leaves we can have, you're restricted to what is in here. You basically can't create parametrically another type of leaf. If you want to go and change the appearance to, say, a Hume door or a Corinthian door, as long as you've got the image off their website, then there's no reason why you can't go to the appearance tab and map that image onto a flat type door, and then that'll give you the appearance you want in 3D. It certainly won't give you the appearance you want in elevation. So basically, let's say we want a fully glazed door, so there you go there. The door width, or the depth basically, is the thickness. So if it's an external door, it's going to be, 40mm door or something like that. And then you can work out your bottom rails and your sides and what widths you want. With the lights, basically because we added the lights on the basic panel, we now can come and define what we want for the lights. So you can see here, it's basically the lights can be made into like windows. So you could have louver windows down the side if you wished. Alright. So at the moment we're working on, say, the highlight. So we want a rectangle. Again, you can do your arched or your sloping window. Okay, depending on what you want. So just get rectangular. You can then specify the height you want, the number of panels here in the height that I want. Well, let's say I want 1. You can see how that's changed that. And then if you drop down this list of panes, you can then say I want 1 pane by 1 pane, and that's going to give you a fixed section. So those panes could be like your colonial bars or something like that if you like. And exactly the same with the side lights, the left and the right. We can just leave that, create the width we want for the side light, the number of horizontal panes and vertical panels are 1. The panes, we want 1 horizontal pane and we want 1 vertical pane. So therefore what I end up with is just fixed glass side lights and a highlight in that window, in that door. Coming across to the detail, in the detail page you can then set up the frame width and everything else you want. Now just be a little bit careful here, because if you're going to be too precise, if you go and put a 70mm wall in and then your frame is wider than the wall, it's going to look a bit funny. So you just have to play around with that to make sure the geometry when it's drawn in plan view is acceptable to you. So don't go playing around with it too much until you sort of know exactly what you're doing. Under the appearance, the same with a wall or any other element, you can attach a material or colour to the door or wall or anything else. So all you have to do is say, okay, for the glass I'm going to click in here to go and get the glass, and then you can go and select the image and bring that back in and set up however you want to see it. And naturally down the bottom here you've got your line type, which you can set up to be continuous or whatever else. Across on the quantity tab, this is the same with all elements. You can either include them or exclude them from taking the quantities off. So if you want the quantity of how many doors you got in there, then that needs to be ticked. Okay, so in general, although the door doesn't match the description up the top, that's the properties, how you set up parametric doors in Envisioneer. If I hit OK, you'll find that it adds it to the top. Now if I want that at the bottom, I can't sort it here. So if I right click again and I select the option of Catalog Manager, this will open up my catalog. Excuse me. And my catalog is quite a size. Once it's open it's okay, but to open and close it, it takes a little bit of time because I've got a lot of information in it. So once the catalog has dialog box is opened, now with the manager here, you can then grab this window or door and drag it down to the bottom. So while your catalog manager is open, you can sort things. While it's closed, you cannot. Okay, so now I've got that down at the bottom of the list where I want it. If I hit OK, it'll just come back in the right order over on the right hand side. And as you can see, when it closes, it's all in the right order. If you don't want it, if you don't want any element in your catalog, you can right click and delete them. I don't want that left in there, so I'll just delete and say yes. If it was being used in the model, it would not allow you to delete it. So that's how you add a door and going through the properties of a door, adding it to your catalog. Thank you, that's all for this session.